Hey guys, this is Jewish, Asian, and Island Pacific Wrestlers. You should know I'm Randy Ritchie. This is Premier Pro Wrestling. You'll have to forgive the background noise. I'm actually at the studio and it's about 5 minutes before doors. I know that I owed you guys one of these today. Today we're going to honor one of the all-time greats in the history of wrestling, and that is Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Jimmy is credited as the originator of high-flying wrestling. The guy was amazing. There's nothing he couldn't do in the ring, and there's nobody that he couldn't work with and have an outstanding match with. Did you know that at one point, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, who was getting about a quarter of the TV pimping time of Hulk Hogan, was more over than Hogan? They had to work real hard to try to kill off the popularity of Snuka because they had all the plans and investment into Terry Bollea. The other thing you probably don't know is what an absolute superstar Jimmy Superfly Snuka was in Japan. Believe it or not, first as a terrifying heel, then after that, a legendary babyface that to this day the Japanese people still look up to him. A young wrestler can do themselves a lot of good by watching any of the matches between Jimmy Superfly Snuka as a heel against the young Ricky the Dragon Steamboat from Japan. I did not know that Danny Hodge traded Jimmy, which explains why he was so great. Now, there was a time back in the late 90s, I'd been trying to get this building for a long time. It was Carthage College in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Kenosha is right between Chicago and Milwaukee, like right in the middle. I had to jump through hoops that I can't even explain here to get that venue. Sadly, when I got that venue was in the wrestling industry, was probably at its lowest. And we're probably talking about 1999, possibly 2000. I thought, my God, if I don't impress, I'm never going to get this building again. I've got to draw. I dipped deep into the annals and thought, and finally thought, let's try this. I went and brought in King Kong Bundy, George the Animal Steel, and Jimmy Superfly Snuka when the internet wasn't so prominent. I know those three guys weren't even on the internet yet, and nobody knew how to book them. Therefore, they hadn't seen these guys in a long time, and I'll be damned if we didn't draw 3,000 sold in a snowstorm for that event. When I used to book Jimmy, I used to deal with his daughter, Liana, and Liana was outstanding to deal with, and then his wife, Carol, who I believe he was still married to when he passed. If not, she was his last wife of date, and they got married in 2004, and they were outstanding people. I brought him in a handful of times, and Jimmy was always an ultimate professional. You know, I can't tell you, even small crowds, big crowds, what those 3,000 sounded like when Jimmy went to that top rope and he showed the I love you sign from Fiji, which is that sign that he did with both hands were before he hit you with that Superfly splash, the same beautiful Superfly splash that he did on Don Morocco in probably one of the most memorable moments in the history of pro wrestling when he came off the top of the cage with it on Morocco in Madison Square Garden. Once again, all politics aside, and I'm not saying what happened with his girlfriend was not a horrifying tragedy. All I can say is I wasn't there. I don't have the facts. None of us were. It was just those two. The other thing I want to say is that as an alcoholic addict in recovery, I know that any situation that one alcoholic addict is capable of being in, so am I, and I'm thanking God that I am sober today, and again, by the grace of God. Okay, guys, hope you guys are enjoying these. Once again, Jewish, Asian, Pacific Island wrestlers, you should know. I'm going to go ahead and put Jimmy's Wikipedia in the description, along with ways you can help support Premier Pro Wrestling. Please note, being brought to you without YouTube commercials, so please be cool, like, and subscribe.